Being bi feels like being the straightest gay person and the gayest straight person.
Welcome to GayTalk 2.0, the ultimate podcast for your dose of dish.
You don't say.
Well, ladies and gents, here's some dish for you. Jay brought his A game today. Welcome back to another episode of Gay Talk 2.0, an LGBT podcast, streaming live on our YouTube channel. We're a little early today for a reason. We'll explain later, but we're early, 15 minutes early to be exact. My name is Tom, and I'm your host. And as always, I'm in the studio with my amazing co-host, starting with the first one.
Hey y'all, Nick or Trish.
And
J Bear, aka your boyfriend's boyfriend.
And welcome back. So, we started a little early. It's been one hell of a crazy day. Obviously, when we do our roundtable, it's been a crazy week, and it's only Wednesday.
Yep.
But obviously, you know, I'll get into it a little bit more when we do our roundtable, which we're about to do now. So,
we'll get into it now.
Yeah, let's do it right away. Let's
Right
just
away.
jump right in. So, Jay Bird, we'll start with you. How are you?
Good.
She's on her computer, so I didn't
Yeah.
want to
I'm
just
house shopping.
She's
This
house
is
shopping.
Jay's fault.
Yeah.
How are you, Jay Bird?
Not bad, not bad. Easter was nice. Spent it at my daughter's house.
That's right. It was Easter.
Yeah.
The Pope died.
Lots of kids, and
God.
Vance killed the Pope.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
I don't know if he actually killed the Pope or if the Pope was like, okay, that meeting happened. I'm ready to go.
I'm ready.
to go.
There's not much more I can do.
But yeah, not bad. Not bad. It's been, it's just been crazy. Things are getting done, and I don't know. I'm just waiting for nice weather on a Saturday that it isn't raining, so I actually could get some yard work done.
So spring is here.
Yeah,
Right.
spring has sprung.
I feel like it came a little early, right? Because historically, like the month of April has always been,
It's been okay. I think there's still that ongoing battle. There's 75 during the day and 40 at night.
right.
And,
I put stuff in the ground.
turn off the heat, turn it back on, turn off the heat, turn it back up.
I should know better.
Yeah.
So I literally put like 2 plants in the ground. I'm like,
Yeah. And they're like, cover them plants.
yeah, it's just,
So-
I can't.
So
I can't.
yeah, it's been nuts. So I think our air quality is supposed to be going down. There's some wildfires in Jersey, and we're supposed to be getting
No.
some of that crap coming this way. So it's not only quality of air for those of us that suffer from some asthma. You have to
Carry your butyrol
carry your butyrol and watch your time outside.
and your treatments and
The pollen's kicking ass.
oh my God, my
So-
allergies are nuts.
Yeah, you come
So-
outside and your car's, my car's green, but even at that, you can still see the pollen.
I know. So you drive what I like to consider the Hulkmobile,
Yeah.
right? Because it's a dark hunter green FJ Cruiser.
Yeah.
And we've talked about the fact that, he has one, I have one. He went to the dealer to get mine, and he ended up going out with his a whole week before I got mine. I was so mad at him
Same
for that.
day. Same day.
No, but
Yeah,
you're
this
right.
weather's nuts, yeah.
The allergies, like we all love spring because it starts getting warmer. You start
Daylight's
looking
longer.
of course, and that's my favorite part.
Yeah, yeah.
And so you start getting in the mood. You want to be outside, but then you forget grass is literally sprouting now. The trees are starting to sprout.
They're ejaculating everywhere.
Oh my God, I feel like I've got cum pollen all over me.
Yeah, no, I had to start taking my allergy meds again. Ugh.
It's horrible.
But you know what's even worse?
What?
I think I almost died like 3 times on my way over here today.
Yeah, people forget. Yeah, they drive like
People
assholes.
drive like fucking crazy people. And like,
I mean, you are in Connecticut after all.
well, no, yeah, this was extra.
So, like, Mass drivers and New York drivers always
I
say we're
had
the
a-
worst drivers in the entire like New England section.
I'm exiting onto the off ramp by your place, and there's a car with its flashers on the side. So I move over to the left a little bit, and then as soon as I'm exiting, the motherfucker starts pushing the car in front of them like almost into my car.
Ew.
Yeah.
And then before that, somebody was driving in the I guess the emergency lane, the lane that's not a lane,
the breakdown,
the breakdown lane, to try to like cut me off and get onto the highway. And I was like,
I will ram my car into you before I let you cut in front of me.
I was like, no, honey,
I'm
no.
that
People
person.
are not. So believe it or not, this morning I was watching the news, and there's new legislation in the works where they are now trying to change the law on speeders. Where if you're speeding in, we have a lot of these accidents are happening. These guys are doing 100 plus.
Right.
Highway, streets, all this nonsense. So there's actually legislation right now that's being discussed. They're going to increase the fine. They're going to double the fines for anybody doing triple digits, suspension of licenses, jail time, and even confiscating vehicles.
But I mean,
So,
at this
and
point,
I
someone
hate
going
some
that
of this
fast,
crazy stuff, but yeah, at this point, I agree with that.
someone going that fast,
110%.
right? Someone going that fast on a highway causes an accident. You could
Absolutely.
potentially kill someone. That's
Well,
that's a that's like an intent to like.
Yeah, it's vehicle manslaughter. Yeah, and I think right now that bill is very likely to pass because it's being backed by votes from both the Republican and the Democratic Party.
Yeah, it's insane.
They're all seeing the same, and I agree 110% with that. It's insane.
Well, then also, I'm pulling out of the garage. Okay.
Wish garage.
The garage at work.
Oh.
And it is a significant opening. Like you have a very good view. And
Yes, ma'am, we do.
some motherfucking kid was running, like, out for their afternoon run and decided to start sprinting.
Across.
And I almost hit him. And I was like, that would have been my fault. And this motherfucker just started sprinting out of nowhere.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like
The
in front of an
pedestrian
exit.
always has the right of way.
But in front of an exit to a garage.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Look both ways.
it still would have been your fault.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
I almost killed somebody.
Right.
And he was hot.
I mean, you do that every day, though.
Yeah.
You would have gone in and done CPR, and they would have been like, "No, it's his mouth."
I saved
honey."
his
He,
life.
he almost kills someone every day simply by waking up in the
By
morning.
waking up.
I don't know what that says about me.
I mean that with a lot of love. I mean, because
I don't know how that could be meant with a lot of love. Just putting it out there.
So Jay, back to
Yeah,
Easter. So you
weekend,
had
it was
Easter.
nice. At my daughter's house this year.
What does
which was
a
nice.
traditional Easter look like in your family?
Uh,
Is it traditional? Is it like,
typical Puerto Rican, festivities, rice and gandules, and we didn't do a pernil this year. We kind of
Did you do a ham at least?
A ham, turkey, homemade salad, mac salad.
Did you
potato
do Easter
salad.
eggs?
They did some Easter eggs with the kids, not real eggs. We couldn't afford that shit.
You buy the little plastic ones
the
and fill
little
them with
plastic
candy?
ones, yeah, and filled them up with candy.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was nice. So, for years we've hosted all the holidays at my house, and my daughter Roxy kind of, she spearheads everything.
Right.
And last year she was like, "I'm done. There's a lot of kids. I can't afford to do everything." So
Right.
she started delegating holidays to her sisters, which is awesome.
Which is great.
So yeah. So I kind of sit back and watch her do it. And she's like, "You're doing this and you're doing that, and if you want to do it at the house, this is what's gonna happen, and you're gonna stay and you're gonna clean and you're gonna."
Good for her,
yeah,
though.
Yeah, so
Good for her. Laying down the law.
Yeah, so I just show up and participate. So. Yeah, but for the most part, I enjoy my cooking, but it was nice to take a break.
It's always good. It's
yeah.
always good when you're the person that the people you typically go to for. Hey, you're cooking, you're doing this, you're doing X, Y, Z, to sort of kind of be able to step back from that
once
role
in a while, yeah,
and not have to be that person that takes care of everything.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's a nice change. It's a nice change. So I mean, we still did our stuff, but mac salad, potato salad, mac and cheese in the oven,
Yeah, like for us,
All that
Easter
fat
used to be
stuff.
big when we were kids.
Yeah.
not big. So it was always about, the Easter baskets. My mother was all big into Easter baskets, but we were really never, aside from her yelling at us, don't eat meat.
Yeah, yeah.
On Friday
that's out the window.
or Thursday, Friday, aside from that, we really never really celebrated Easter.
Yeah.
And even now, I was home.
Yeah.
Napping all day, nursing the hangover from Friday and Saturday. Our good friend Steve, he had a birthday recently on the 9th of September of April. And so we had a dinner for him on Friday. And then a friend of mine, my friend Rafi from New York, who travels all over the world. I don't know what that man does. Whatever he does, I need it in my life. Because he's always somewhere else. And he's like, hey, I'm going to be in Connecticut, and I think it would be really fun if I come up and do dinner and blah, blah, blah. So he's like, I want to do New Haven pizza. So we were like, all right, well, I'm giving you 3 options. It's either Sally's, Frank Pepe's, or Modern.
Yep.
Best 3 pizza places in New Haven. Anything else is trash.
Well, but yeah.
Yeah.
And so he chose Sally's. So we went to Sally's.
Which is my least favorite of the 3.
I know, but you know what? I didn't want to ruin his experience. I just wanted to let him figure that out for himself.
That's fine.
And then I told him the
think
history.
I've had Sally maybe once, and I can't recall.
I did. I had them each one time, and then now my general go-to is Modern.
Right. Yeah, Modern is for me is one of my tops.
And Pepe's takes you 6 hours to get in.
Oh my God! It's
So
crazy.
for those of you who are listening, if you don't live in Connecticut. New Haven, Connecticut is the capital pizza of the world. Okay, it is
of the United States.
The US. For us,
I
the
still
world,
think
yeah.
I say the world.
The U.S.
I don't
is
know
the
if you
world,
can really
so-
say that right now with how the world feels about us.
Well, you're right, but okay, in the U.S., the further you get away from New Haven, the shittier the pizza gets. Okay,
With the exception of New York City.
Still, it's trash.
No.
Yeah. Except for like Bar. So Bar in downtown New Haven makes a mashed potato pizza with bacon that is like
bacon, garlic, and onions.
Oh, it's amazing.
It's funny.
It's life.
There is one pizza place in New Haven. When I was a kid, I had this pizza at some wedding I had to go to with my parents, and I'll never forget it because I was
Pizza
like, this
at a
pizza.
wedding?
Well, no, it
How
was like the
trashy.
night before.
Yeah.
It was like like when we were in the hotel.
Damn. What trailer park were you at?
Right?
Oh, damn, Trish. That was harsh.
No.
You're checking my white privilege right now. But no, I remember having this pizza because I thought it was like the best pizza I had ever had. It was in either Long Island or Jersey. And the one place that actually it tastes very similar, but it's just the cheese pizza, plain cheese, is Estes.
Oh,
S Pizza is actually really good.
Yeah.
I enjoy their salads.
Yeah.
Overall, I would say New Haven
We
has
ate-
a
we
really,
ate
really
a-
good handle on
we've
on
eaten
pizza
a
making.
shit ton of pizza at Est.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Every night after the bar is right down the
Yeah.
block.
Yeah, it's right
Maybe
around
it's
the
good though
corner.
because we're always drunk
Yeah.
when we come out.
I've had it when I was sober.
See, yeah. In Bridgeport, my first experience with pizza was Beverly's Pizza. They've been there 30 plus years.
Yeah, I've heard of it.
Right.
Yeah, so that's like my family's go-to. They've been here over 40 years. You know what I mean?
How do we get on this pizza thing?
I don't know.
Yeah, because we're fatties.
Oh, I was talking about the weekend, and so I didn't want to ruin, my friend's experience. I said, sure, go to Sally's, right? And he enjoyed it. I said you would have had better experiences. Maybe for next time we'll try different ones. And then we ended up, of course, at Partners, and it was really busy this weekend. I was there both Friday and Saturday,
Girl.
and then I had to work Sunday. And Dave was like,
That's enough.
Yeah.
"That's enough. I'm over you." And but no, we had a good time. And then my friend, he had come up with his friend who he was staying with in I believe it's the Norwalk area, and then so they drove back home. It was good to see him, and that was my weekend in a nutshell. And then I was just like, oh my God, Friday, like Saturday morning and Sunday morning, I spent the entire morning sort of kind of recovering from like I can't do it like I used to do.
No, girl.
It just
None of us can, and I'm younger than you.
I know.
Yeah, Saturday.
Thanks for rubbing it in.
It's all sorry. I mean, at least like you've got brown skin,
Well,
high and tight.
Yeah.
You don't.
No,
crack.
we have to remember as well the Ozempic. Also, when you're using that, it
Oh wait, that's
heightens
out already, right? Like we're all like
when
on
you're
a version
using
of.
yeah.
I have no idea what,
What
you're
you're
talking
talking
about.
about.
This is natural.
So when you're using Ozempic, and you drink, it hits you harder,
Well,
which
maybe
a lot of people don't realize.
Maybe that's it. 'Cause
So
let me tell
yeah,
you.
it makes it
Yeah.
So that's one thing. And so Saturday I did go out as well, but I mean it wasn't party hardy. I went to my nephew's baby shower, which we were just talking about earlier, and he had some really good whiskey, but I only had like 2 small shots, sip it
And that's all sugar.
and and I was like, yummy, but I was like, I gotta get
Yummy.
home. Let me stop drinking.
Good.
So,
That's
yeah,
good.
Yeah, so you have to realize sometimes when you're doing these medications, some of the drinks that we're used to drinking half a bottle of, we can't do.
We can't do anymore.
So after a couple of shots, you're like, oh crap, I feel like I've had 6.
So well, that's great. So how was your Easter, Trish?
It was fine.
You got some quality time with your new additions in the
so
family.
I've been spending pretty much every weekend the past 3 weekends, and now it'll be 4 this weekend, with the MAGA twins. They are perfect and adorable
And beautiful.
and I'm obsessed with them.
Do you call them the mega twins in front of your brother?
Hell fucking no. If you ever found out I said that shit, it would be like, God.
You're excommunicated from the
Yeah.
family.
Yeah.
Well, you can't be excommunicated without a pope. We don't have one yet.
But Demi, the 3-year-old, she is.
Yeah,
I was gonna say, how is she dealing with the
how's
whole
she
thing?
dealing with it?
She loves the twins. She loves her sisters, but she adjusting to the attention deficit has been really hard.
Right.
So like, I spent this past Saturday, I spent about 2.5 hours with her playing puzzles and like doing things, just me and her in her playroom, which I think was really great for her.
Yeah.
And that gave my brother some space to like do some stuff while my sister-in-law and my other sister were like taking care of the twins. And then we get to dinner.
Oh my God.
And it always seems to happen at dinner. I don't know what shifted. And I think this is just when she throws her tantrum, because everything that she normally eats, she does not want now. And like, I was
It's
literally
the attention.
I was helping my brother in the kitchen, and Demi has this little thing that she stands up so she's like at the counter height, so she
Right.
can be like next to us. And she was just having a meltdown. And my brother, literally, I just saw his hand start shaking at the stove. He's like, I'm gonna lose it. I'm gonna lose it. I'm gonna lose it. And I was like, Chris, just walk away right now. Just walk away. Because normally my brother just pops off.
Right.
So the fact that he was warning people, I was like, just go. Just walk away. Demi ended up having her peanut butter and J. Like, she was fine. Like, it's just,
It's a lot. 3 kids under 3.
Yeah, the meltdown was.
Yeah,
was,
and
was-
then you have 2 kids that are simultaneously hungry at the same time,
Yeah,
right? It's
yeah.
like they're in sync. There's like
Well-
circadian rhythm, is it?
Yeah, and well, one eats very well, and the other one is still struggling a
Meh,
bit.
yeah.
So like, the concerns are like so different, and it's a lot. And then you want them to sleep, but you don't want them to sleep too much, so you can get some sleep. But anyway, long story short, when I got there, I looked at my brother and I was like, "Oh damn,
Yeah.
the dark circles are real."
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Well,
like, he's got
twins. Here's the thing: they're twins. They're not carbon copies.
Oh God, no.
They will never eat the same. They will never do the
No.
same. My twin boy,
Try
my
that shit
grandsons,
with
the
my
twins. It's a
I thought they
shit
were
show.
triplets.
Yeah, well, yeah, the ugly one we leave in the basement. We just throw scraps down at them. No.
You try
But-
that shit with my
yeah.
mother, man. That shit
But
wouldn't
it's
fly.
insane. Yeah, no, it's insane because they don't eat the same. They don't do, you know what I mean? And
Yeah, so,
I think you figured they're twins. They should eat the same amount of food.
yeah.
I have one that'll devour an entire meal, and the other one be like picking stuff out his plate.
Yeah.
I don't like that. I don't like this. I don't like that. So it's weird because you expect them to eat the same. It just doesn't.
Or at least similar.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, my brother had the like serious dark circles, and like I had asked him to make me a bottle, and it took him, I think, almost 4 times me asking to actually make
Poor
it, because
guy.
he would go to make it and
Get distracted.
Yeah. Go to make it, get distracted. And so finally he made the bottle, whatever. But then my sister-in-law, I guess, she came down, and the night before, Demi had a nightmare, so screwed up their entire schedule, woke up at like 11:30 at night, and Lindsay got no sleep. Yeah. And so she just started crying. And like, she's super postpartum emotional too, so you take it with a little bit of a grain of salt, but at the same time, by the end of the day, we didn't leave until after Demi went down, and we did the last feeding before the girls went to sleep, right before Lindsay would have gone to bed, because Chris does the first shift, she does the second shift, and then anyway, it works for them.
Yeah.
But then we're leaving, and I'm with my older sister, and she's like, we really gotta step up, and we gotta help them. And like it was tough to see them, like, you know, this weekend. Not tough, and it was very nice, but like see them,
you can
like,
see them struggling.
But
yeah.
Also think of this you know, scenario too. You have parents that have twins that also have a little human who I believe is just 3 years old, right? They're hosting. On top of that, you have people coming into your home.
Oh, in like, not everybody at once, but they want people there.
Right. I'm sure, but you know, it's out of their normal.
You walk in and their baby is in your arms already.
Yes.
Like, it's not like they just hand it to you.
Well, let me
Like,
tell you, when they get older, it's a lot more fun.
Yeah.
Let me give you a quick that I forgot. So Easter Sunday, my daughter's house. So the twins, Javi and Giovanni, insane. So my daughter made a turkey. Everybody ate, no problem. Giovanni was like, Titi, I have to tell you, your turkey was dry. I don't know what you did wrong, but it's nothing like Papa's. They call me Papa. It's nothing like Papa's. You really need to check it.
Oh, shit.
Giovanni is very upfront. Very straightforward about stuff.
Vocal.
Very vocal, which I love. Titi, it was good, but it was dry. It was very, very dry.
Yeah, that's funny. Well,
so when they get older, you're gonna see the differences. You're gonna appreciate it so much more. But,
I'm really excited. But the moral of the story is, I'm going back this weekend.
She got volunteered.
Good.
Which I don't really mind. It's fine. But
right.
Me and my older sister are going up to do the overnight on Saturday, so that my sister-in-law and brother can actually get a full night's sleep.
Yeah.
Knock on wood, nothing goes wrong. We have to wake them up, but
no, they'll probably still wake up when they hear the kids. It's just automatic.
They don't cry,
but
they don't like. It's crazy. They are the best babies.
That's good.
I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot to handle.
Yeah.
But I couldn't imagine handling twins. Like, if
I
they
can't
were
imagine
screamers.
handling one baby, let alone 2.
Well, it's funny because I don't mind changing diapers. I've been doing that since Merrick was a baby. I was like in high school, middle school, I think. Like,
Yeah.
But Grace had just switched to a new formula, and they have to adjust. Their bodies have to adjust. And so she was getting really gassy. And like, I'm telling you, she farted so loud, I thought it was her mother.
Uh-huh.
And I literally turned my head and I looked, and I could see that it wasn't her mother, because her face was like, what the fuck? Just came out of my daughter. And then she handed her to me because she had to do something. I can't remember what it was. I might have been dealing with Demi's meltdown, but she handed her to me, and I was like, all right, I'm going to go change her. And then I start changing her. I was like, Mom, you're going to have to tap out. I'm tapping out for this one. I'm like, this is not a good one.
Throw the baby out.
I was like, I got to tap out for this one. You gotta get in here.
Yeah, I've had situations. I remember, one of my cousins, the mother was going through some issues. She had some addiction issues, and my mother took in my cousin when she was a baby. And I remember, like, Mom, changed the diaper, and I'm like, okay. And then, like, she had diarrhea
Yeah, they
I was
usually do
like,
when they're little. Yeah.
you want me to wipe this with how many wipes? No, this is not happening. I'm carrying the baby to the water and shh.
Literally, that was my suggestion.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, no, we're not doing this.
I was like, you got to get the sprayer.
like we were like holding.
Hose this baby
I'm
up.
holding the baby.
They're gonna wake up in the middle of the night. I'm gonna be over there with Sadie. Like,
So here's the thing. At the time, we were living in Puerto Rico. What doesn't exist in Puerto Rican houses?
Hot water.
Exactly. So you try taking a baby who just literally crapped themselves in diarrhea.
From the middle of their back down to their belly button.
And then you have to literally like spray them with fucking cold water.
oh my god, I can't.
That child fucking wails. And I'm like, well, you're just going to have to hold on, because I'm not going to sit here and take Chubb wipes and start wiping shit off your body. It's just not happening. You're getting a bath at this point.
So I had a twin baby hangover on Sunday. I'm sure I'm going to have another one this Sunday. But in good news,
Right.
we got some really good news at work last week.
Yes. Okay. Is something like that you can share?
Yeah, I can share it.
Okay. Well,
Yeah,
go
totally.
for it.
So I've been working on a proposal with a partner of ours for about a year and a half now, and a year and a half. And it is a huge investment, which I was so nervous about. But on Thursday last week, we found out that we were unanimously awarded this money, which is a 3-year commitment. It's about $1.5 million over the next 3 years.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yes, queen.
And it's a huge investment in our arts education programming. With given the climate of the world right now, that's the first thing that gets cut in schools.
Right.
And so, with the amount of money that we were awarded for our arts education program, we're going to hopefully within the next year or so, as we develop this program, be bringing theater directly into schools.
That is amazing.
It's
yes,
really
girl.
exciting.
You better work.
But
Bitch clap.
yeah, so we're really excited. I was in a senior leadership meeting with, I don't know if I told you guys this. I was in a senior leadership meeting when I found out. And senior leadership includes all the directors, my boss, and my boss's boss. And I get the email, and I just go, oh my fuck. In front of everybody. and they were like, what? And I told them, and then I started crying, and they're like, are you crying? I was like, I'm crying.
There's no crying in baseball.
I've cried twice when it comes to my job. Once was when I got the $5 million, and this is the second time, because when you work on something for so long,
Right.
Yeah, it's stressful.
It's a labor of love. I mean, when you are doing, when you're working for a nonprofit and you're working on providing funding and or trying to acquire funding for programming that immediately benefits the community, it's a labor of love.
Yeah.
You have to love what you do to be able to do that job.
and the small wins are great. Like, when you get the 10, 15,000, all the smaller sponsorships, the smaller grants, it's great. But when you get something like this,
Right.
it's a transformative type
it's a
of
big deal.
gift.
Of course it is.
And like, it makes a huge difference. We're working on a strategic plan right now. I know we got to talk about gay shit, but we're working on a strategic plan right now. And
Well, this is gay shit. It's theater, girl.
yeah, true. On Wednesday, we had a meeting, and one of the things that came up in the meeting is we need new major sponsors, and we need to add employees. And this money is not only a major sponsor, both for general operating and education, but in the grant is built a new employee.
Nice.
That's awesome.
So yeah, no, it felt good. Now,
Well, congratulations.
thank you. So now I have 3 years left, and then I'll figure out my next step.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I'm sure you're going to be fine. Like, listen.
Can you reapply?
Oh yeah, totally. So this is pretty much like a pilot.
Right.
Nice.
So this
Well,
is
what are the chances that reapplying will get you a second award? Is it unusual for someone who applies for this type of program to be awarded a second time?
no, because it's not a foundation. It's a different type of partnership.
Okay.
And
Nice.
literally, basically, if this money that is invested, we just need to show metrics of growth,
Right.
which with the amount of money given to the education department, and adding a new person, there's only opportunity for growth, and we have to show it over the next 3 years, so at least there's a runway.
Right. Well, I'm sure that you'll land.
Also, within that bill, we were able to get an additional $25K outside of what I originally asked for to invest in free tickets. More free. We already have a free ticket program for students,
right,
and community members that otherwise can't afford it. Now, but that was never funded. Now it's funded with $25,000.
That's amazing. Awesome. You have a school that's right next to pretty close to the theater.
Across the street?
Co-op. We actually have a contract with Co-op. We run their arts programming.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. My niece goes there. Well, I think she's graduating this year.
Oh,
yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, wow. Well, congratulations. Great job, as always. There's never any doubt that you would be able to, pull through and come through for what you love to do.
Thank you. Taking a vacation now. Bye.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. I'm taking a vacation. Bye. Give me a raise.
Well, that too.
Yeah. So yeah, let's jump into some gay news. We've got about 15 minutes left, so I'm thinking we can cover a couple of things.
J.D. Vance kills the Pope. No,
yeah.
The B isn't silent.
The B isn't, yeah.
This is a big thing. So, I have been reflecting on this since the announcement that, the Pope, Pope Francis, right?
Yes.
Passed shortly after Easter Sunday. So I think he passed on Monday morning.
Easter Monday, yeah.
And which is kind of like there is it's not irony. What is the word? There's a certain level of I don't know. Help me out here.
I'm not sure where you're going.
So when it's fitting, right? It's like
serendipitous.
Maybe. So here's the thing.
You're
a religion. You're the top honcho in the in Christianity, in
the Catholic,
the Roman Catholic Church, right? You're celebrating Easter. You're at the precipice of what your entire organization or institution stands for, right? The birth and death of Jesus Christ. God, we're not going to... I don't like to get religious because really I'm not a religious person, but the whole premise of the church is the birth and death of Jesus Christ and everything else that came, with that whole, 33-year period where this man lived. And, he had his disciples, and I'm not going to sit here and tell you, what the Bible is about, because honestly, I don't care. But the whole premise of having someone, from the very first considered Pope, St. Peter, all the way through the current Pope, this institution has been around for 2,000 years. It is one of the longest continuous institutions where you treat someone like a monarch, right? And that's what the Pope is. Obviously, they're elected by the College of Cardinals. They're about to go and do this thing called the conclave. So what I was reflecting on is it's very fitting that this man decides to leave this world in his current role the very day after Jesus Christ is supposed to have been resurrected.
Yeah.
Right? But to say all of this, it is very rare in one lifetime for you to experience or see what the conclave itself is.
Yeah, we've seen three
of them, right? So in the crossover from the previous century into this new one, right, from the 20th into the 21st century, you had the conclave that elected John Paul II, right? Then you had the death of John Paul, and then the subsequent election of Pope Benedict. Then you had his abdication. He resigned the popeship, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And that's what gave us Francis. I don't think in human history, I mean, if you go way back when people were being killed, for political
reasons. Yeah,
religious.
Early on in the popehood, you would see a lot of turnover. I don't think in recent centuries we have seen
such a turnover.
3 popes.
Yeah.
In less than 100 years.
Yeah.
Is what I'm trying to say. So this is very historic. We're literally going into another conclave, which is, again, something that has been going on for well over 2,000 years.
Yeah, and the big thing with Pope Francis was that he not only did he reiterate traditional Catholic teachings of same-sex marriage, he also supported same-sex civil unions as a legal protection with same-sex couples. So
Right.
very few
Would-
in such a position of authority would back that up.
Right.
So,
No pope has ever
no,
done that.
no. So
Ever.
he had a big impact in the short time
Right.
he was in his position.
I mean, we've covered some of the stuff that people have been saying
Yeah.
about the Pope ever since, he came into his popeship, if that's what you want to call it.
Yeah.
There have been, he would make statements like, we're all human and we got to love everyone and blah, blah, blah. And, I don't care who you are. You're still, you're a child of God or whatever it was that he would say. So he would say things that sort of kind of gave you the impression that, he wasn't really focused on you being gay. He's more so interested on you being a human. And he was a different type of pope. He was one of the few popes that actually was a what do you call that? You're not a bishop. You're
Cardinal?
not a cardinal. When you're in the church and you're actually giving,
Priest.
he was a priest, right? Not all cardinals.
Okay.
Not all cardinals actually, have had delivered mass before in the capacity of someone doing it every day and engaging their community every day. And this individual is also the first Latin pope ever elected, right? The majority of popes typically tend to be European, very Italian. He was the first one that came from Argentina, a Latin country here in the Americas. Which really sort of kind of changed the game. And he came with a whole different agenda and changed a lot of things when it comes to a lot of the normacy that was considered within, that whole organization.
Well, within hours of the announcement of the Pope's passing, getting a little political, Marjorie Taylor Greene
Oh, fuck that bitch.
went on X and posted, Today there was a major shift in global leadership. The Republican Congressman post read, Evil is being defeated by the hand of God. Now, these are supposedly Christians, right?
Right.
And you look at the Muslim community, and they have had an outpour of support
Yes.
for the Catholic Church, and their condolences, and
Right.
and so you have to look at where these people are standing.
This Pope, believe it or not, actually publicly apologized
Yes.
for the sexual assault of children
Yes.
from priest within the Catholic faith. He went to Canada. One of the first trips that he made when he was elected Pope is to go to Canada and apologize to the Indigenous people for the treatment
yep.
of the Indigenous people in Canada at the hands of the Catholic faith at the time, many hundreds of years ago. So he did a lot of things that were really, truly unorthodox when it comes to.
Well, that people seem as unorthodox,
Right.
but I think it was justified.
Right.
Well, he also really called out this administration and Vance
Yeah.
specifically about their treatment of migrant workers
Right,
and immigrants, and how can you call yourself a Christian or a Catholic if you disobey, love thy neighbor,
Yeah.
above all else, right? I mean, like the fact that we're seeing concentration camps, and I'm not going to ever call them anything less than that.
Absolutely.
Created by this administration, and we are just flooding them with migrant workers and immigrants here in the United States, when the United
And even
States
non-immigrants.
Yeah.
There have been several U.S. citizens that have actually been detained by ICE.
Yeah.
It's insane. But, it's... I guess what we're trying to say is we're about to...
he said... This decision to love and serve the stranger, the refugee, and the foreign with charity is a hallmark of Christian faith, such that a government crackdown on this work seems to be a threat to Christian practice itself, or an attempt to reshape it into something else altogether.
Right. And that was the kind of Pope that, we had, which was in clear contrast.
Very interested to see.
It was in clear contrast to Pope Benedict, right? who was
Anti.
very anti.
And I have a funny feeling that this is going to be a long conclave, I feel like.
Yeah.
Right.
Because I do feel like every time you have more of a progressive person in power, there's more of a pushback, right?
From the
constituents. In this case, it would be the conclave.
Right. And the conservatives
Right.
in that conclave.
Correct. And so I'll be very interested to see who is, I guess, elected pope.
Right. There's a list of potential people that could be elected pope that was going around.
Am I on that list?
And it gives you like a quick overview of where they stand on, for example, gay rights and things like that, where they're from, typically, where their nation stands with gay rights.
Yeah, this administration just wants to use religion as a weapon.
Of course.
They don't want they will avoid and ignore anything that says, something exactly what I just read, right? They'll ignore anything where, it contradicts what they're doing and lean into anything, any minuscule piece that they can find that empowers the work that they think is important or what they're doing.
Or their agenda.
Yeah.
I don't know whether we could ever consider their work being important. It's just an agenda. It's
well,
what they're
not
pushing.
us, but them.
Right.
No, which takes me back to the meme I had a while back, which says, when someone tells me they are Christian, I ask, classic Jesus or Republican Jesus?
True.
Like which
because,
one?
Yeah.
Right.
You have
MAGA
to be
Jesus?
MAGA Jesus.
Right.
It's true. Unfortunately, people's alignment only depends on
Right.
their view and how right wing and insane they are. So it's insane. It's just we lost a good a person that was aligning with a lot of stuff that it's equality for all, and they could try and erase history, but that's not going to happen.
Right. No, I mean the fact that he existed. I mean,
Yep.
this is cemented in history.
Yep.
I didn't want the conversation to be this in depth about religion. Obviously, it wasn't our intention. I just wanted to really highlight the importance or the historic
Importance.
moment that we're about to experience going into yet our third conclave in less than 100 years,
Yeah.
which is not the norm. And so, and to end and wrap that story up, the movie Conclave, the streaming of that movie has shot up so much so that they're like, literally, it's like they just released it. Because people are now interested. Oh, what's going to happen here? What can we expect?
happening?
Right?
Yeah.
Everything is very secretive. You don't know until that dark smoke comes out
black
or that
smoke
white
comes out,
smoke comes out, whether we have Habemos Papa,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It's Latin for we have a pope. We just don't know. Anyway, so in other news, a federal judge in the state of Massachusetts has just blocked Trump's administration's gender-restrictive passport policy. So it states here that the judge, again from Massachusetts, blocked the Trump administration's move to cease offering X gender markers on U.S. passports or allowing passport holders to change their gender marker. U.S. District Judge Julia Kobik, an appointee of President Joe Biden, granted a motion Friday for a preliminary injunction which keeps the policy from being enforced while a lawsuit against it is heard at the court level. The State Department implemented the policy which affected transgender, non-binary, and intersex people back in January when Trump took office and quickly signed an executive order recognizing only male and female sexes and denying the one that one's gender can ever change.
I think this presidency is going to be known as the executive order
Presidency. I think
he's living off of executive orders, and he think it's law.
I'm worried that there will be an attempt to dismantle our judicial system.
Well, that's what they're doing, right?
That's what they're doing now.
So he knows that he can't go to Congress and say, Congress, I need you to do this. I need you to make this a law, right? Because you have two parties and independent people to make law. and put it on my desk for me to sign. So what he's doing is he's banging out executive orders like he's pulling fucking pieces of bubblegum out of a fucking
Like it's law
thingamajiggy.
from the get-go, yeah.
But
Right.
it's like, but yeah, and he thinks it's law when he signs it.
Yeah.
Well, in a sense, an executive order can be enforceable if it doesn't violate our constitutional rights. But he's still trying, right? And so what he's doing is he's writing so many and throwing so much at us all at once, all at the same
Yeah.
time, that people, the media, the watchers can't focus on one singular problem to solve that first before we have 20 more lined up right behind it.
Yeah.
And so that's what he's doing. He's being disruptive and he's testing the limits of the courts. He's testing to see how far the courts are willing to go to push back on him, and then what happens when they go up to the Supreme Court, right?
Yeah.
He's got a super conservative majority there.
Yeah.
And the majority of the people that he has there, at least 3 of them, 4, maybe 3, he appointed in his first presidency. And so that's what he's doing, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's just fucked up.
Yeah, but I think even the people that he appointed will need to abide by what is law, not by what he wants.
Right.
Right?
And we've seen on several occasions 2 of the justices that he appointed, Amy Coney Barrett
Yep.
and Neil Gorsuch, have actually signed on to a couple of things rejecting some of his requests, which is kind of shocking, but it's good to see that, you know, we're seeing that kind of dissent even from people that he appointed, because he feels like they owe him something.
They owe him something, and you have to take into consideration if they're signing something that is illegal,
Right.
that's their appointment, right? Wouldn't that put them at risk of?
Well, you would have to attempt to impeach.
Yeah, but at this point,
Right.
I mean, shit is just blatantly out the fucking window.
It's fucking insane.
It's a shit show, and,
You know?
and I think you have to realize, yeah, you're appointed, and some people are appointed for for life, but if you're doing shit that's straight up out off the wall, you don't necessarily have to be. You could be disbarred.
Yeah. But with
And if you're
Doge,
but if you're
but with
disbarred,
Doge, all the people that were there as watchdogs, people were saying, "Hey, you shouldn't do that." All
yeah.
the people that were holding it to account the ethical, values of these very high-powered positions are
they've
gone.
eliminated, yeah.
They're gone, right? And there's no watchdogs in a sense as a result of Doge's efforts to really say, "Hey, you shouldn't be doing that." And keep in mind that, you know, this was covered 2 or 3 years ago. The Supreme Court is not subject to any standards like the smaller courts are,
Yeah.
right? Where they can say they don't have ethical standards that they have to abide by. The lower courts have it, but the Supreme Court doesn't. And so the Supreme Court can turn around and say, well, no, we're not violating any law. And from an ethical perspective, well, we don't have ethical standards, so we can do whatever we want.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm just hoping for a blue wave.
I'm just hoping for a fall.
Things have changed. There's so many
a hard
people.
fall.
So many people have already felt the impact of
Right.
their decisions
Right.
going red. Especially farmers, unfortunately.
Oh God,
They are
up in arms.
up in arms.
Have you
and-
looked at your 401ks recently?
No,
Oh my God, I looked last night.
No,
I
no,
lost-
I don't want to again.
Yeah, after I saw the first loss,
Yeah.
I
Right.
I
Yeah.
can't.
So
I
on
just
election day, and I think I mentioned this before, I
Yep.
took a snapshot of where my 401k was at the time. And I took a snapshot yesterday and put it in my journal. And the difference is just fucking abysmal.
Yeah,
Not going to talk financials here. Obviously, that's personal. But it's fucking abysmal.
And it's affecting my hot tub.
Yes, it is. Trish, do you have anything?
Yeah, well, really quickly, I want to mention another crazy lady, crazy lady. So Nancy Mace.
Who the fuck is that?
So U.S. Representative Nancy Mace,
Oh, fuck.
South Carolina Republican,
Fuck that bitch.
was approached by somebody in Ulta. His name was Eli, a Charleston resident, Eli Murray Quick. Walked into the Ulta. Do you guys know this story?
No.
don't know.
No. What
So-
is Ulta?
Ulta, it's like a beauty store.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's like face masks,
Yep.
cologne, makeup.
Yeah.
Kind of a Sephora thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Bad gay.
Yeah.
Saw her, and approached her, and kept a very kept at least 10 feet or so between them.
Right.
When addressing her, and basically just asked her, "Are you ever going to hold a real town hall?"
And her response?
It got real heated real quick. Her response was, "Fuck you."
Is there a video? Is there audio?
There is.
Play it.
Okay.
Like, seriously, because I have not seen this.
I think she finally did do a town hall, though.
I do them every year. You want to keep going? Do you want to keep going and keep harassing me? You could have gone to a dozen town halls last year.
I asked if you're doing any more this year. It was one simple question.
Yeah.
Are you doing a town
I've already done one. I'll do plenty more.
more this year? It was a simple question.
You're always invited.
Okay, sweet. Well,
And by the way, I voted for gay marriage twice.
What does that have to do with
So
me?
I'm just saying, it has everything to do with you.
Do you think everything about me has to do with gay
I
marriage?
do,
That's
absolutely.
your first stance when you
Yep.
speak with me?
Absolutely.
There's no other humane
If you want to get in my
conversation
face
you can
about
have
town
me.
halls, you should have shown up
There's
to
no
one
other
last
humane
year.
thing you can talk about me just saying, oh, I support gay marriage.
Yeah,
That's the
because
only
you're
thing
getting
you
in
have
my
to
face
say.
about a town hall. You
All I
could have
was
gone
asking
last
was a
year.
simple question from
Would
right
you
over
like
here
me?
is if you have any plans to have more town halls this year.
I have town
That was
halls
one
every year.
question.
I have over a dozen every year.
Great, that was my entire question. You didn't have to go
Yeah.
into this spiel about
You
everything
could
else.
have come to any of them last year.
And I'm
I had
asking
over a
about this year,
dozen.
not 20.
Yeah, but last year you guys
Or
didn't have the power.
Or the year before that.
It was a simple
Oh,
question. I
because you
asked
know
if
what?
have
Because you
anyone
people
that
on the
you're going to
left
this year
are
or not.
crazy.
So I'm
You're
on the left.
absolutely fucking crazy.
I'm absolutely fucking
You are.
crazy.
And get out of my face.
You're insane.
Goodbye.
You're insane.
Fuck you.
You're gonna fuck me. You're
Yep.
gonna be voted
Bye.
out so fast this year. I
I'm
can't
not.
wait for you to fucking
I'm not.
go
I
into
won
it.
by so much.
So fast.
Disgrace this
We
state.
get the
That's what
gist.
you are.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so that's basically what happened, and now obviously this guy's on a mission to get her out of office.
He should run.
That's not about it. I mean, I don't know what his aspirations are in life, but
Yeah.
I think what took me
The fuck you. That's
that
an elected official.
It's an
Really?
elected official that immediately got defensive because they know what people think currently of the horrible work
and
that
they
you're
know
doing.
that they're not doing anything. Why do you think they're not having town hall? But
Right. They
I
don't
thi-
want to because they're
I think-
afraid of people, coming
They don't
in and
wanna put
holding.
out the bullshit they're putting
know.
out. Yeah.
Yeah, I think what plugged me in and what pissed me off was, hey, I voted for gay marriage twice. You owe me nothing. That man, yeah, he definitely comes off as, part of the community. Said nothing about gay marriage,
Right.
nothing about gay rights.
He asked about a town hall.
You're making an assumption,
Right.
which is fucked up. But on top of that, you voted for it twice. Your job's not done. Your job is to all of your constituents.
Right.
And a lot of your constituents are a part of the LGBTQ plus community. So you voting for gay marriage does not
Absolve you from
from
all
all
the
the other shit.
all the other shit that's going
does
on.
not absolve you from book bans, does not absolve you from bills including anti-trans legislation, bills including anti-gay, anti-bi, or whatever it is. It doesn't recuse you from anything that has to do with teaching about our history in schools.
Right.
You are literally saying, I'm fine. I voted for gay marriage. I
It's
believe
no
in
di-
you.
it's
I
no-
believe in
right.
you. But no, you don't fucking believe in us, because
Right.
if you did,
You would make that assumption. You just simply say, "Hey, I don't have any town hall." The
but you
question
would, but you would
was,
not only just vote
Right.
for gay marriage, you would make sure that because you believe in gay marriage and LGBTQ people's rights,
right?
that whenever there's legislation put forth that challenges LGBTQ people's rights, you challenge that legislation. You voting for fucking marriage equality does not fucking matter at this
Right,
point.
but so like you said, she immediately looked at this individual and said, "Oh, he must be gay. Let me let him know that I voted for marriage equality. This should make it better for me."
And she was the one escalating the situation, not him.
No, man, that's not what he was asking. What he was asking you was, after the election of Donald Trump and after the the implementation of all of these tariffs, and after seeing our 401ks being decimated, the thing that we're going to rely on when we have to retire, and after seeing all the crazy shit and the fucking clown that we have in office, and and JD Vance allegedly killing the Pope, after all of that, we're not talking about
and legislation I saw today that was put forth, not necessarily in South Carolina, but like we've said, it's a blueprint. They're literally introducing a bill that says, don't say gay, K through 12.
Yeah.
Which means anything gay cannot be talked about or taught in schools.
Right. So all of this, right, that has happened after or since the election. We're not talking about the town halls you had last year. That conversation was different last year because you weren't in power, right? We're talking about you having conversations with your constituents who are pissed off right now after this election and after all of this has happened. That's what that gentleman was asking. He wasn't asking about equality. He wasn't asking about gay rights. He was asking you, when are you going to hold your next town hall so that I can have an opportunity to then come and in a public forum tell you what my concerns are. He wasn't voicing his concerns there. He was saying, when am I going to have my opportunity to do that?
Additionally, like, people who represent America, who represent constituencies for our government, if you can't comport yourself in a professional manner in front of and for all your constituents,
you don't belong in public office.
That and shop online, because
Like,
right now
seriously.
you're going to get approached.
Right.
People want answers. People want to know.
Right.
You're going to get approached. If you can't handle that,
Right.
shop online and don't say stupid shit like, no, I voted for gay marriage.
Like, that's going to make it better.
No.
That wasn't even what he was asking.
No.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But great job. Jaybird, do you have anything before we wrap it up?
Child labor laws.
All right. Let's talk about child labor laws. Let me guess. Florida?
Yeah, there's quite a few. Indiana.
Yeah, they're trying to.
Yeah, they're trying to change. Yeah, I think Florida was saying, children can, with the loss of migrant workers, especially in most of these places, farms, and, they're saying they want to loosen child labor laws and children can go and pick their own fruits.
Yeah, imagine that. Imagine that.
Yeah. So, it's
When you say loosen, do you mean like lower the age?
lower the age,
Like
allow
what? 'Cause
longer.
right now it's 16.
16, they want to, I think they were saying 12, 13.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I started working at 14 under the table,
Yeah.
but that's ridiculous.
Yeah, no, you're
And-
talking about
and you're
people who
talking
should be
about-
focusing on education,
Yeah.
right, in school.
Yeah. And you're
Which-
talking about,
Do you see the domino effect?
Well,
Yeah.
my dad realized I wasn't very bright, so he was
16,
like,
yeah,
"You gotta start
yeah.
working. You need a good work ethic."
16
so
hours.
wrong,
I
that
think,
father
what are you
bears.
limited to, like 16 hours per week right now?
So when I started working, I was only allowed to work 2 hours a day. It had to be after school. It had to be before 9 p.m.
yeah.
So you could only work, I think, 2, 4, 6, probably about maybe 12 hours, I think it was. And on Saturday and Sundays, you can work a little more.
I am literally like flabbergasted right now. Let's not invest in proper immigration reform. Let's not do that. What we should do, though, let's lower the age so that, like, our children that we're supposedly trying to protect from gay people, our children can focus on picking our fucking fruit because we kicked everybody out of the fucking country.
Yes.
Yeah, and what they're saying is, allow teenagers between 14 and 15 to work longer hours. Makes no damn sense.
So if they're working an 8-hour shift, okay, and they're going to school for about 7.5 hours in a day, when the fuck do they sleep? When do they have time to do their homework? When do they have time to focus on their education, do sports, do all the things that we say that are good for you as a young, healthy adult to do? You don't have time for that if you're picking fruit.
So there were no significant efforts to challenge the child labor laws for the next 4 decades. In 1982, Ronald Reagan sought out to ease federal protections, which again allowed 14, 15-year-olds to work longer hours in fast food and retail, and pay younger workers less than minimum wage.
No.
So not only do you want them to work longer hours, but you want to pay them less.
Right. No, ma'am. You're going to pay them less, but you're going to expect the same output, right?
Yeah, yeah.
What are you going to make them go out in the field and pick fruit and vegetables for 16 hours a day under a hot sun with minimal breaks? And it's insane.
Yeah,
We're living in a fucking like
Twilight Zone.
This is I swear this is like a Barney, like an episode of like, it's a Barney fucking administration. It's a clown car on steroids. It is just, I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know where we're going. I don't know where we're headed. Puerto Ricans on the island might have their citizenship stripped. You just don't know.
Yeah, they want to sell Puerto Rico, buy Greenland. You know, they think they're playing Monopoly, these fucking morons.
Just, I don't know. All right, well, listen. Great show, everyone. I think it's time to wrap it up. We do need to bring it home. So on that note, I'm going to toss it over to Trish. Let me give you your love. Let me make sure it is.
All right, everybody. Here's Mama Kim's Minute. Number 1, The Last of Us star Pedro Pascal, Protect the Dolls t-shirt raises tens of thousands for trans charity. Number 2, these panels from the Freedom to Be quilt aim to elevate trans joy and resilience. Number 3, Pete Buttigieg warns warns nation is in an incredible, dangerous moment.
You got that one?
No, that was
Yeah,
it was
a tongue twister.
He's just basically warning
I feel
people.
like they're missing a word. It warns the nation. We're in.
No, he's
an
just saying Pete
incredible,
Buttigieg
dangerous-
warns nation.
It
is in an incredibly dangerous moment.
Tell me there's not a word missing.
No.
Let's see.
Pete
Pew, 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 pew,
Pete Buttigieg warns nation is in an incredibly dangerous moment. Yeah, it's a little bit of a tongue twister.
Yeah.
All right,
Semantics.
moving on. Moving on. On this day in gay history, the year 1967.
Is this the one?
I don't know. Let's see.
Oh, he found this one for you?
Probably, yeah.
I have a fun little fact after this that we have to
Yes,
talk about from work.
absolutely.
Oh my God, you're going to love this.
Okay, somebody spam calling me. Hold on, let me hang that up. Sorry. The year 1967. What happened? Let's see. The Student Homophile League of Columbia University pickets and disrupts a panel of psychiatrists discussing homosexuality. The Student Homophile League. I guess that was the LGBTQ club at that time.
The homophile.
Homophile League.
Interesting.
Yeah. Well,
So-
names in 1967, right?
Oh my God.
Let's hear your fun fact. Or your
My discovery.
this.
Okay,
Oh
so-
yes, let's add that on. Yeah.
We have to talk about this. Trish,
Yes.
listen to this. So, you know, I rarely ever go into the office. And I was in the office on Tuesday?
Yesterday.
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 Yeah, it was Tuesday, yesterday. And I'm walking down the hall, and all of a sudden, I'm seeing all of these old pictures of UI back in history, going back to all the way to like 1899 into 1901, and then
Which is all the stuff they printed for our 150th anniversary or what it was?
No, UI was it's 125th anniversary.
125th anniversary.
And so there's all these little cards with little words and descriptions of the things that are happening.
History
in all
of
these,
the company.
The history of the company, right? Images, they're amazing. And I'm reading this card, and I come across this. In the year 1890, the first alternate current generation was installed on the John Street station in Bridgeport, Connecticut. And at the time, Bridgeport had its own power station. New Haven had its own power station. It was called City of Bridgeport Electric, New Haven Electric. When they united, it became United Illuminating.
Okay.
Right? And it goes on to say, oh my God, I was like,
It was a nice fun fact.
I was
to
like, holy
find.
shit. So they installed that current generator there. Then it says the first line woman, wait for it. Her name was Minnie Howard Briggs, a trapeze artist who, tired of working in a circus, disguised herself as a male, went by the name of Chas Morgan, and worked at United Illuminating, and was only caught or her identity revealed to be a woman when she was injured on the job.
Wow.
We had our first trans person working at UI back in 1890.
Well, we don't know if she was trans, but
Well, she could be. I mean, she had to like play the role of, being someone other than what she was born as, right?
yeah, I wouldn't necessarily call that trans.
I just think it was just so fucking crazy.
it's a very interesting.
I was like, stop it.
I want to know if she got to keep her job.
No. I don't think so. Yeah. No, but
How did she get paid, though?
Oh, she got paid. Literally, it just literally says.
Probably used the name of a. I mean, back in the days, things like that you could get around.
She went under Chas Morgan, right? So her real name was Minnie Howard Briggs.
Yeah.
And they list her as a line woman, but really, if she was dressing up as a man, she was a lineman. At the time. But yeah, her real identity was discovered only when she was injured on the job. I was like shook. I was like, stop it.
So Tom has to tell everybody something at this point that he's been
dressing as a boy.
Yeah. To make sure your bills
are
right
paid
on time.
Yes. Yeah, because it takes a woman to do that kind of work.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah, but I thought that was a cute little like historical 1890. Can you imagine?
LGBT.
Yeah, you were born back then.
90. Fuck you, bitch. Anyway. I hate her.
All right, moving on.
Whose turn is it?
Mine.
She just carbon dated me. Go.
Carbon dated me. All right, moving on to our announcements.
You're like that printer paper with the perforated
edges.
Perforated edges. And
what do they call it? The dot matrix printers?
Yeah.
Fuck you, Trish.
That's some carbon copy paper.
carbon copy paper. The
No, the
printers,
ones-
yeah,
the
the
ones that
printers
you
with the
actually had to-
acetone smell to it that everybody sniffed when the teachers handed out.
You had to like soak the ink cartridge and pop it in, and then you started turning pages with the manual.
Don't
ink.
worry, girl. You look good, though.
I know. Like, let's stop. Jay Bird, I'm sorry.
All right, moving on. If you love the show, please make sure to please make sure to subscribe, rate, and review on your favorite podcasting service. By subscribing, you get the latest and greatest of our show delivered right to your favorite device or web browser as soon as the episode is published. You can also support us on Patreon. You, our listeners, can help to support the show with a pledged donation. The donations are collected monthly and can be in any denomination of $1 or
Girl,
more.
one beer and you're already speaking cursive.
Yeah, that was a little
Trash.
Few shots too.
There's more potholes in that freaking plot than I don't know what.
All right, everybody, get the Future Method and all of the products today. All products are doctor developed, can clean out without hurting your bum. Take confidence anywhere with the anal powder packs. Increase your stretch goals with the 3-piece anal glass dilation kit, and get all the information you need with Dr. G's book, But Seriously. Visit futuremethod.com to purchase your life-changing bum accessory today.
There's more potholes in that plot than those in the roads in Puerto Rico. Oh my God.
You guys are horrible. We need to book Dr. G. We need another G
I know,
spot.
I got to reach out to him.
Yes.
I referred somebody to him recently.
Nice.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jay
Girl,
Bird.
she was like, yo ass is missed. Go see Dr. G. Yeah.
They were complaining. I was like, wow.
Well, all right. It is time to put a ring on it. And as always, we would like to remind you, our show is available on our website, GayTalk20.com, under audio podcast. It is also available as a free download on Apple Podcast, YouTube Music, and Stitcher Radio.
House Queen.
All right, you can find us on social media, Facebook, GayTalk 2.0, Instagram, GayTalk 2.0. Email us at GayTalk2.0 at GayTalk20.com. Tom, try and avoid those potholes.
All right. Well, ladies and gents, just a quick word. Next week, we are not recording on Wednesday. Nick has a very fun-filled,
exciting
Wednesday coming up next week. So he'll be in the city, so he won't be with us. So we're not recording on Wednesday. We're going to instead record on Monday.
They're sewing your asshole shut finally?
I'm seeing 2 Broadway shows in one day.
She's going to be all over herself.
I'm seeing Smash the Musical and Just in Time with my future husband,
And
Jonathan Groff.
And then she's getting smashed afterwards.
I hope so.
Yeah. Well,
We'll see.
have fun. But obviously, so, you're going to get another episode in about 4 days.
Yeah.
Just letting you know.
Monday.
On Monday.
Monday.
And we might have a surprise for you. We don't know that yet.
We don't know.
So with that said, I want to thank you all. If you need to reach out to us, just head on over to our website. Click on the Contact Us tab, which is located right at the top of your web browser. There you can leave comments, suggest topics, submit a question for the cast or an individual host. You can even call us and leave us any questions you may have on our voicemail. Our phone number is 334-GAY-TALK. And if you need all of those digits, it is 334-429-8255. Don't forget that we typically do record and stream live every Wednesday at 6 p.m., but next week it'll be on Monday. You can get more information on our website, gaytalk20.com. Ladies and gents, that is our show. Thank you and have a good night. Bye.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Gay Talk 2.0. Tune in next time for more dish.